just a few hours away from witnessing Game 6 of the PBA Commissioner's Cup Finals. Can Barangay Ginebra finish the series against Bay Area, or will the Dragons live to fight another day and send us to Bukawi, Bulacan? Let's get a preview from basketball analyst Mikey Reyes. Mikey, welcome back to the show.
It's good to be here again. It's fun to talk about the finals. I believe it's one of the most exciting in recent memory.
I agree. I have to agree. Of course, with the foreign opposition and Barangay Ginebra being the team that they are, a lot of people have been comparing it to a bit like Gilas kasi may mga national anthem pa even before the game.
Even before the games, right?
So, okay, biggest story that's coming out ahead of this game, Mikey. Myles Powell, babalik na daw in exchange for Andrew Nicholson. How does that change things?
Well, obviously, it's the first time that Coach Tim and the rest of the Ginebra Gin Kings would have to face Myles Powell. And what's tough is all you have is tape. That's all you have. Tapes, mapaparod mo yung games in the elimination round, but it's different when he's right in front of you, especially a talent like Myles Powell. So I think with this, it's going to change the complexion of the whole series. I know their backs are against the wall, but with a talent like Myles Powell, it's just different when you have someone at that caliber.
And Mike, you've covered so many PBA games. You covered Bay Area with Myles Powell there and with Andrew Nicholson there. Ano yung pagkakaiba ng Bay Area when you bring in Myles Powell in trade for Nicholson?
Mas bagay sa Pinoy. Mas bagay sa Pinoy yung Myles Powell. I actually covered that game wherein he hit that buzzer-beating three-pointer against Northport. And also, we talk about the crowd of Ginebra. Always, Coach Brian has been talking about how this is the first time to be in such a hostile territory atmosphere. I think Myles Powell is the only guy in that Bay Area squad that can somehow get the oohs and the ahs of even the kabarangays. So that's big in a series like this or in a game like this. This is important. One big highlight play from Myles Powell. Medyo makukuha mo ng konti yung crowd.
Now, for those wondering why he wasn't playing, it's because of the injury that he suffered prior to the series. In fact, we saw a lot of Andrew Nicholson kasi nawala nga si Myles Powell. But then, is that going to be an issue, yung health niya?
Well, if they let him play, then he's gonna play. I know that he loves to compete. I know na medyo mainit na yan kasi nga siya lang yung hindi naka-experience ng Ginebra. And every time you're on the bench, I'm sure when you watch a game like this, you would love to be a part of it. So I'm sure, adrenaline will kick in once he gets his legs under him, magpapatalon, especially with a crowd like that.
Right, because, reports have been saying he won't be 100%, but with a caliber of player
sinabi
like,
din nila, hindi naman
Myles
lalaro
Powell, right? But it's gonna be interesting how this will change everything. But let's talk about Ginebra. Their performance, Justin Brownlee, crazy performance, both offensively and defensively. And of course, si Stanley Pringle, that 1-2 punch nung previous game. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that will translate to the next game, Mike?
Well, I love what Coach Brian said, that he compared Steve Kerr to Stanley Pringle. I love how Stanley Pringle has evolved his game from being a solely slashing, tough shot taker, tough shot maker, to someone you can rely on to spread the basketball, to spread the floor, and especially with Ginebra. With the lack of shooters, of known shooters, for lack of a better term, pwede mong puntahan ngayon si Stanley Pringle. And coming off the bench, ganun yung lalaroin mo, then that's a big plus for the Gin Kings.
The Bay Area Dragons will be hoping to get healthy, especially for the next game, because of the fact that wala nga si Glenn Yang in the last game. Played 48 minutes a game before, and of course, Andrew Nicholson's not going to be there. But you base on, you take a look at what happened the last game, and adjustments have to be made. Mike, ano yung pinaka-obvious doon?
Pinaka-obvious for Bay Area? Well, they have to allow Myles Powell to do his thing. Because again, with a talent like that, sometimes you have to ride that talent. You don't want to keep him shackled na. At the end of the day, when you lose this game, wala na, uwi na tayo. After 6 months here in the Philippines, uwi na tayo. So I'm just gonna give him the floor and allow Ginebra or challenge Ginebra to stop Myles Powell.
So that's the key for Bay Area.
He needs to go off.
To force a Game 7. That
off.
one thing is to give him the ball, and another thing is for him to put that ball in the basket. Pero for Ginebra, they always say that the toughest games to win are the closeout games. What does it take for Ginebra to close it out in Game 6?
Parang sa atin, the toughest games to win are the games. Buti pa sila kumu-close out.
Okay na lang yun muna.
Buti pa sila kumu-close out games. But for them to finish this series is the same thing. They need to eliminate, they need to contain Myles Powell. Because Myles Powell, Bay Area is going to go to him. As great as they have been without an import, with this one, at least very well that Myles Powell will try to take over. They have to put different assignments on him kasi no one man can really stop him for that long. So it'll be also a question, sino yung ma-match up mo kay Myles Powell? It's obviously not going to be LA Tenorio. Maybe it's going to be Scotty, maybe it's going to be Jamie, maybe sometimes it's going to be JB. So, the chess match will continue between these two coaches.
Well, the reason why you mentioned LA Tenorio a while ago, the reason why Stanley Pringle did explode is because LA Tenorio had to leave earlier sa game because of a little injury that the coach team contests day to day. I wouldn't be surprised if LA does suit up, pero yung minutes niya, maybe if they are limited, how much more pressure is that on Stanley Pringle to step up and fill in the void of LA Tenorio?
And I think it's not just Stanley Pringle. Obviously, Stanley Pringle will take the minutes of LA Tenorio, but the role of facilitator, a little bit more on Scotty. Alam naman, Scotty is going to be ready for anything. Maybe Nards Pinto will have quality minutes to really facilitate the offense and all that. But, LA is not, number one, LA, alam niya na may bonus after tomorrow. So lalaro yan si Kuya LA. Imposibleng hindi maglaro yan.